Bonjour, and welcome to the best day of the week, or the best day, or the chat about the best day of the week, which is New Comic Book Day, because I'm a few days late, but every now and again life gets in the way, and it does take me a little while to read through everything, because I do try and do that, unless it is, there always are a couple that I know are just going to be consistently good, like Kaya, for example, and that's in my honourable mention, but I can't keep banging on about that as one of my favourite comics every month. Anyway, what I am going to do is show you 10 of the best comics, in my opinion, from this week. I'm going to do the deep dive on 5. The deep dive has returned. That will be after the scroll. So if you don't want spoilers, I'm making all the pre-scroll non-spoilery. And then if you want that flick through the comics, the top 5, join me after the scroll for the deep dive. And I've got a little whinge of the week. Very, very small whinge of the week. But nevertheless, you know I've got to get it out of my system. And then we're going to have the usual bit of fun at the end of the video, cover of the week, which is imagining if we only had pocket money for one comic and we was going to the spinner or the shelf in the drugstore, or the newsagent, or that spinner rack for pocket money. But you know, take you back to an age where you only had pocket money for one, and you have got to choose. And it's going to be that cover, as always, even now. It's always going to be the artwork on the cover that is going to, plus, well, I suppose when you've got as much baggage as I have, the title was going to, the title was going to mean a lot as well, which leads me on to, so anyway, join me for all of that, please. That's going to, and what I was just talking about, as in the title, my first book that I'm going to do the deep dive. I bought this for Humberto Ramos's artwork. I thought that said Spectacular Spider-Man. I was talking about, I am a geekyOlhog, ain't I? Emphasis on the O in the middle. Not the whole, the old. Anyway. So I picked this up. I have been a Spider-Man for, if you're a comics fan, I think you're a Spider-Man. Even if you're DC, you're a Spider-Man fan. And even if you're Marvel, you're a Batman, kind of. I think if you don't agree, let me know in the comments. We'll have a chat about it. So I've picked this up, looking forward to Humberto Ramos artwork. And I didn't, God knows what I was thinking it was going to be, with Spider-Men on the cover, with 2 Spider-Men on. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Perhaps it's because I didn't bring any aforementioned baggage to it. But I've got to admit, Greg Wiseman on the script story duties, it's a cracking old school Spider-Man, quippy, action-packed. Loved it. Thoroughly enjoyed that. A nice return to form, which Marvel's top character deserves. It thoroughly deserves that kind of treatment. A top artist team and a good writer on their top character. This also continues to be a great read. Jed MacKay, and I'm not his biggest proponent, that writer, but on this, the whimsical, the whimsical way that he's dealing with the character now, particularly the relationship between Doctor Strange and Clea, I'm really, really enjoying. If they could keep Pascal Ferry on the art all the time and keep that consistency on this book with the storylines and the artwork, this would be even better. And obviously with the Alex Ross covers, it's just a great product. The art style, that loose art style, it has taken me a while, because it's another favourite character of mine from years and from decades back. So sometimes you do come to a character with a lot of baggage, and where I've grown up with and enjoyed the kind of extra dimensional, going into the 7 levels of hell, Doctor Strange, what Jed MacKay's been doing on this has been jarring for me, but that doesn't make it bad. But I must admit, I have settled right into it. We'll have a look. I did go through, I don't know if it was last month or maybe the months before, where you had the dog, I forget his name now, Bongo, is it? Anyway, doesn't matter. Doctor Strange's dog, because that's a new thing for me, the dog. That is a little bit, you know. Anyway, it's doing a good. We'll have a look. This and these Energon books, they are a beautiful thing. And I know some of them are only tenuously tied in. Nevertheless, we'll call it the Energon universe. These ones are quite. They're a very visceral read. They're brutal action in them, and not just a decent story, character-driven storylines that they do not overcomplicate. And I am really, that's the best way to uncomplicated storytelling, because it doesn't always have to have 12, 15 different elements in it that all tie up in issue 80. Sometimes it can be as simple as the storyline in here with these two characters stuck in prison trying to get out. There we go. That's my synopsis. Thoroughly enjoyed them three. Now, when I saw this on the shelf, I've got to admit, and I know there's a lot, I'm talking a lot about this week. I don't know why about the baggage I bring, but I don't let that consume me. I do try new things, and you know, my book of the week will show you that I am up. I want to see new comics, new ideas, even new characters or two. Not that this is a new character, but I did roll my eyes and thought, oh, another Elseworlds Batman. I know it's Black Label, but you might as well call it Elseworlds because it's set in like pre-Second World War Gotham, or you know, after the Depression. But great story and artwork combined make it a very, very intriguing read. So I'm glad I picked that up. The art style was spot on. That's why we won't have too much of a deep dive because it's square bound, so I'm going to be flopping all over the place for that one. But I'll just try and show you a few examples of, you know, show you the Batman and whatever, but we won't go too much into the story because I know a few of you have said about spoiler alert and you'd rather go to the comic shop and pick them up. Well, maybe do that first and then come back to me and watch my video, and it won't be spoilery, will it? That doesn't make sense because then you wouldn't have picked the comic up. But anyway, this is my book of the week. I do love Peach Momoko's stories and artwork. More her artwork than her stories, because her stories are completely bonkers. But I do love them. There's just that. But I was going to say breath of fresh air, but it's like a breath of insane fresh air. She just comes at characters from so far left. And I don't mean that in a political way, I just mean that in the weirdest sense, in the weird way. She comes from characters from so far over there, you can't help but love it. Well, not for me anyway. And the Demon Days stuff and Demon Wars and all that stuff she did for Marvel, that really sucked me in. But it was like, woohoo, hey, what's going on here? And it is the same with that more. No, I'm being a bit unfair on her, to be honest. I'm being unfair because that is a more collected and considered narrative from what she's done before. Still loved it though. I don't know, I might have a separate discussion about that, maybe when issue 2 comes out, because I do not know how you long-term X-Men fans are going to feel about it, because it has got, at least Ultimate Black Panther had T'Challa and Shuri and a few of the other characters. Spider-Man had all of your main characters. So all your Spider-Man fans, you all go, yay, this is the ultimate version of him. I don't know what that's about. Like, good for me, because I haven't picked up the next book for years. So I'm in. I'm in for Momoko. I'm in for new characters, etc. So, loved it. That's got to be my book of the week, just for the impact of it. Some honourable mentions. Thank God Chip Zdarsky's brought it back, literally brought it back down to earth. if you've been reading Batman, you know that's a little joke. Really enjoyed it. George Jimenez back on the art. All the faffing around with other story. Just get back to in the title of the comic called Batman. Most people just want to see a continual monthly comic book with, guess who? Batman in it. So yay, he's in it this month. And it's not 20 years ago, it's no one's first year, it's no one's origin story, it's no horror themed crossover. Batman in the book called Batman. Thanks, DC. Another great Bat book. And no, I'm not joking. If you enjoyed your Saturday morning cartoons back in the day, if you just like, well, who doesn't like Scooby-Doo? Is anyone out there who doesn't like Scooby-Doo? Come on. Teamed him up with Batman. Nice art job. Obviously nice and light. They're aiming at a certain audience, but I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, the little kid in me. It's like with the Darkwing Duck stuff and Negaduck and Justice Duck, you know, all the ducks and the bats aimed at that Saturday morning cartoon feel. The creators are doing it. They're managing it 100%. They're taking us there. So I know it's a, you know, after all the serious stuff, it's a bit of fluff, but perhaps we need that sorbet. Another one that I had my eye rolling moments, but I do trust, and I'm glad I did, J. Michael Straczynski, who's writing this. And I think what it is I've never seen Captain America go off on such a supernatural arc of a storyline. But I think once you settle into it, that has been a decent, what issue are we on now? Issue 7. So that's kind of setting off the second storyline in this more of a supernatural feel to it. And JMS is weaving an interesting tale, and Captain America is in it. You know, because sometimes they do get lost in taking their characters too seriously and then forget to put the main headline title character in it. So I am enjoying that one. I do recommend. It's a shame they couldn't just keep the same team on all 6 issues. Again, that consistency. Come on, Marvel. You can do it on the Hulk. Do it on Captain America. Do it on that Spectacular Spider-Man. Just get it going. Come on. You've got some good writers and artists now. Do it on Doctor Strange. Come on. That was a little preemptive whinge of the week, wasn't it? But that's not a whinge. That's just me as a lifelong comic fan asking Marvel, come on, just up that game that little bit much, and then yes, you're gonna have some great titles like this one by Wes Craig. For you know, just square. And I love all this. And if you followed my channel any length of time, then you know how much I love this book. If you haven't, I love this book. Its art style is absolutely beautiful, and you will have to look at old videos with Kaya in it. If I think it was my top book, or certainly in my top 10 anyway. But yeah, have a little flick around if you haven't seen the artwork. I suppose it's easier just to Google it, isn't it? Wes Craig. And what I love about it is, and I do lament the fact that on the back of these comics, a lot of the time, with mostly the independents, at least the big boys, they put a big advert for Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack or something. Not that there's a lot of advertising in the comics, but the indies just put a logo on the back. I still maintain that, come on guys, let us know what's inside, and you might attract a new reader. Specifically me, because if you're on issue 5 or 6, but you can reel me in, I'm going to walk over and I pick that issue 5 or 6 up. I'm going to go back into my local comic shop or go online, whatever I did to get that, and I'm going to ask for the first 4 issues. Maybe, but that is I know that's old-fashioned. As it come out of my mouth, it kind of sounds like an old-fashioned idea, but nevertheless, this kind of previously. It is nice to refresh your memory a month later if you're reading one thin issue a month, when you're getting 10 to 20 books a week. Sometimes it's an age thing again, isn't it? Sorry, it is an age thing. Where am I? No, I'm joking. Again, another indie book that is consistently good. Now, it's obviously easy for AWA to keep the same art team on because they do 4 or 6 issues. They always find interesting and intriguing storylines. And this storyline, I did go through issue 1. This storyline about, and it's not how you think it's going to go, which is basically an android that works in the sex industry escaping with a little girl into the wider world, because she's only just, the 2 of them have only just lived in the quarters of her owner, or the operator of the aforementioned house of delinquency. They're very, very nice. They're not heavy on the sexual side of it, because that's not what it's about. That's what I meant with issue 1, where you think it's going one way. By issue 2, you think, nice, pleasant surprise, great story. It's only 4 issues, so this one, guys, it will be definitely worth a try. The price point of it's going to be nice, and it's a nice read so far. One of those ones I can't wait for issue 4 to see how the main character gets. You're just invested. Love it. So that's my top 10, guys. The first 5 are for the deep dive. Now, permit me, before the scroll, to have a little whinge of the week. Do you remember how much I said I loved the Energon universe? Well, I still do, and I do love this book. My whinge of the week is going to simply be this. Guys, get on with it now. This is another issue of walking and talking, and it's like I'm getting those Disney Plus, those Dismal Minus vibes, where all their characters have to walk around. They have to walk and have a chat to let you know where the story's going. And then they have to sit down. And guess what they do? They have another chat to let you know where the story's going to go next. It's not quite that bad. I am over it. But please, I've enjoyed the first 6 issues, but there were a couple of them there where I thought, blimey, you've stretched that out a bit. That you've got AWA doing a straight, like a fully packed 4-issue miniseries. They've done a 6-issue first arc here that I do believe could have been 4, and it would have been as good as the other Energon universe stuff that's really getting on with it. They really are. I know G.I. Joe isn't part of it, but the Duke and Cobra Commander, the other aborted Transformers, they're getting on with it, and this is good. It's intriguing. I like it. I do like this comic. But my whinge is get on with it. Anyway, now, before we go over to the deep dive, I'd like to thank all you sexy subscribers. Yes, you knew I wouldn't forget you, didn't you? And if you're commenting, I love you as well. Give me a like if you do like. It all helps. Anything, comments, likes, particularly a subscribe. It all helps me find a happier place amongst here in my already happy place. So it really does help us the little boys at the bottom of the metaphorical ocean of YouTube, I suppose. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, all us. I was going to say bottom feeders, but we're not. It's not like that. It's just we're at the bottom, and we need to, your commitment to our little channels helps, and I really do appreciate it. If you are doing any of that, if you're just watching and enjoying and coming back, that's fine. That's fine. I will allow it anyway. I'll stop waffling. That must be black coffee kicking in, because I'm filming this early in the morning, so it's not gin. Anyway, join me after the scroll for a little look at my top 5 comics of the week. Okay then, guys. Here we go. Spectacular Spider-Men. Which my old eyes didn't take in the fact that, yeah, anyway. Let's not dwell on that. Nice splash page opening shot, and then we get straight into it via this fight and who these 2 Spider-Men are. I really did enjoy the fact I was right in, wasn't expecting it. These 2 guys, he's really got the Spider-Man shtick down, Greg Weisman, and obviously Humberto Ramos. I'm not sure if I'm the biggest lover of Victor Olazaba's inks on top of Ramos's. I think he's lost a bit of his typical style, but I still, this is still great stuff. And all right, you've got a page of dialogue, but it really did move along. It is quippy, but that's kind of like what you want Peter Parker to be. And then this nice little storyline from, a few days before. So it's a classic shtick while they're having the fight. You see what led up to where the book started. And I just thought, they're fighting some nondescript, I don't know, he does mention his name, then what's happened, you went and added gorilla DNA to the genetic, blah, blah, blah. And then meeting the assorted surrounding characters, which I always like. I do always believe in a good supporting cast. Nice. This is where you can see Ramos definitely on pages like this. This is where I think this is where he shines everywhere, doesn't he? This is pure Ramos. Look, that. So I did thoroughly enjoy that. Great start to a great, please get it right for Spider-Man for once. Marvel, dear Marvel. Doctor Strange, like I say, lovely Alex Ross cover as always. I like the fact that it's, as if the Secret Defenders are walking down like some street in New York. And they're getting their photos taken. Love it. Basically, in this issue, spoiler alert, by the way, if you do fancy picking this up, this is all basically, like I say, I'm loving the dynamic between these two characters, what Jed MacKay's doing. I really do like it. You really are they're really bringing the characterizations to the fore, and Clea is becoming a really interesting character in her own right, not just Doctor Strange's sidekick. He's basically collecting a few characters. Doctor Strange is collecting a few characters. So spoilers, if you don't want to carry on, just skip ahead, to participate in a role-playing game called Cobolorum, which invades reality. So this is what, it is a game, blah, blah. He's explaining to Clea what happens, because it's this has appeared in the Upper West Side, and it's a fantasy role-playing game. And he has to assemble a team with a thief, a wizard, and a fighter. And no, not a thief, he's the wizard. So basically, Black Cat's the thief. This iteration of Moon Knight is I don't know what. Actually, anyway, he's got to assemble his team, and then Taskmaster as the fighter soldier. So again, the characterization of Taskmaster is done really, really well. This was a lot of fun, this comic, and it looks like it's only going to be. I think it looks like it's only going to be a 2-issue story. Oh, it says to be continued, so it might go on for longer, but. And, with the formats they've all got to deal with. This little bit of shtick here between Clea and Black Cat, and we did see a bit of it in previous issues. I just like her bitterness, where she's such a caustic character, but nevertheless loves Stephen Strange to death. So a really nice dynamic that they've got going on amongst all the... And this is... They're taking the story seriously, or they're taking his mission seriously, but within it, the dynamic between all the characters has been something I really, really enjoyed. So I do recommend that one, guys, if you're going to pick that up in whatever formats are available. Like I said earlier on, Duke, this is just a great, entertaining, straightforward, no mucking about read. Art style suits the storyline. And this one, basically, Duke was thrown into prison. We saw a tease of, what's her name? The Baroness. She's in there as well. And, and another spoiler alert. Oh, maybe they need to work together to escape. You never know, do you? I loved this bit. They've basically given the reader who doesn't know about the Baroness, who's never read any G.I. Joe or whatever all the back history of this franchise is, 2-page origin. Right up, bang, done. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 boxes, 2 pages, job done, back to the story. I absolutely loved that. I really did. And they're not keeping the Baroness as a 2-dimensional character. It's really the guy whose name is on the title of the comic is really a bit more 2-dimensional than she is. Found that a really interesting way of dealing with it, and then all the usual stuff. You know, he's obviously still going a little bit mental because he saw Transformers. So, yeah, good action shots. There's an attack. There's an attack on the prison, and etc. Now what are we going to do? So, this is just all great stuff. Really, really good stuff. Top, and we're only 3 issues in on that one. So, the one that I rolled my eyes, Batman First Night, Dan Jurgens, you know you're in safe hands. I can't recall having seen Mike Perkin. This was a nicely designed intro to get you in the mood of where we are in the the 1930s Gotham. But just to get you in that era, I did really like it. Beautifully designed book, as always, by DC. Very New Yorky stuff, but I think it does set the tone. But this is Gotham, really does set the tone and the era we're in. With the flashlight bulbs. This is a really well accomplished art job by Mike Perkins, and the look of the characters, the feel of it. You're just sorry I can't bend the other. It's gruesome enough as well. And all I'll do with this one, guys, is I'll take you to, here's Bruce Wayne, which I just love the feel of it that they've got. They've got it down really, really well. He looks a bit like Gregory Peck. They've obviously fashioned Bruce Wayne on Gregory Peck. If you don't I am old. I know I said that in this video quite a lot. And then here we go. And how do they introduce Batman? With a crash through the glass. Again, I do like how Mike Perkins has done. The good thing about this book, right, is that we aren't getting another Batman origin. The one thing they are assuming in this book, well, there's no Alfred in this issue. So but he does allude to an incident with his parents, but we're not shown. We are not going back to Crime Alley, and that's what I now I'm talking through this comic. They really are getting on with it. Here we are, 1930s Gotham. This is the Batman we're giving you. This is the Commissioner Gordon we're giving you. These are the villains we're giving you. Now get on with it. Rain-soaked streets of Gotham. I like the little blimp there. Lovely colouring job, actually. Let's give a shout out to the colourist, Mike Spicer. It was Spicer, not Spencer, wasn't it? Yeah. Beautiful colouring job. If you look at those 2 splash pages right there. 2 splash pages? Those 2 pages, sorry, right there. Beautiful colouring job. So I'm glad I looked inside that rather than roll my eyes and move on. But I know it's Black Label, which is good for the violence and stuff. But it's in Elseworlds, obviously, for want of a better description. And book of the week. Here we go, guys. Are you ready for a bit of Peach Momoko? X-Men. Right, here we go. Schoolgirl in Japan with her issues is basically the gist of the story. And this is all the typical but beautiful. I don't mean that in a patronising way. Your typical Peach Momoko, but beautiful. And then it goes dark. It takes a darker turn. I won't go too far into this because really there's not a lot to show that you're not seeing on the cover. Basically, this little girl, that's her power. We don't know who this character is yet. I love the way they did the lettering on the voice. You know that the way they've done that lettering really creates in your mind a voice that I found myself haunting myself with the voice I created to read those words. Again, beautiful stuff by Peach Momoko. She never fails to impress, and I do like the fact that she is a little bit, off the wall, shall we say, with this stuff. Brilliant. I won't go on anymore because obviously it's, spoiler alert. But yeah, book of the week, thoroughly enjoyed it. As a cover, does that sell an X-Men? Does that sell an X-Men book? Because I've got to say, I don't think it does. That sells a Captain America comic. That sells a Batman comic, beaten and bloodied with his fists up. That sells a Spider-Man comic, even though I missed the title. Does that sell? I don't know. I think it will. They do say sex sells, and a sexily clad. They have put her more prominent than the guy whose name's on the cover. So they've done design-wise. I think that's what I would have gone with if I was a publisher of this comic, with a baronet, black-clad, sexy-looking baroness with her glasses and her hair. Look, properly like Black Widow in Marvel. Go with it, guys. And Batman on the cover of your Batman book, and I think that tells you, you've got James Cagney looking villain there with his Tommy gun. He's firing his one. Shotguns, very, very evocative. Very evocative. I am just going to mention this one for cover of the week because I love the fact that in the modern world that everyone's taking pictures. Look, the black cat's literally looking into the camera. You can see, look, he's focusing on Doctor Strange. Alex Ross done a brilliant job at it. And Taskmaster looks like he's actually going to slice someone. Because he's getting wound up. So I do like that. But cover of the week, come on, we've got our pocket money, guys. I think my pocket money would have been staying around here, and with Batman. I think Captain America was a bit static. Nevertheless, that's what you put on your Captain America cover. I'm not slating. And again with Batman, good. George Jimenez, of course it's good. But compared to the others, very static. To sell an Ultimate X-Men, they're obviously going for a different feel. So yeah, this is all beautiful. To sell, is this a ghost? Or what is going on? Intriguing, but not exactly action-packed. And I know that's my book of the week, but it isn't cover of the week. And I don't think it is that either. Even as sexy as the Baroness is looking, I don't think that is my cover of the week. It's definitely between these two for me. And do you know what, guys? I'm going to go with, even though I didn't notice any of it, but I'm noticing more. Now I'm looking at the Spectacular Spider-Man cover and I'm noticing more of Humberto Ramos's. I mean, what's this going on in the cars and the all parked and the angle of it? It's definitely between these two, but I'm going to go with Spider-Man this week. That is, I think that sells you the first issue of a comic with those two characters in it. Enough said, enough done. I think that's a glorious cover. So on that note, thank you guys. If you are still with me this far in, thank you so much. And until next time, I will bid you all adios.